Today we'll be looking at the general term of a sequence. What is the general term of a sequence? If we know the formula for the general term, we can find the value for any of the terms. Okay? Now what do we mean by that? We're going to learn how to make the formula from a sequence. Now let's take a look at an example. For this example, I have the numbers 2, 7, 12, 17, 22, etc. as a sequence. How do we figure out the formula, the general formula for this sequence? We can generate a table first and find if there's anything in common between the subsequent terms. Now if we look here, we can find that the value of t1 is 2, for t2 it's 7, which is 2 plus 5, t3 is 12, which is 2 plus 5 plus 5, t4 is 17, which is 2 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and lastly t5 is 22, 2 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. So what is Tn? How do we calculate the general formula? We need to look at the constant differences here. We see that we add 5 when the value of t, the value of n rather, increases by 1. So we can see that this is an arithmetic sequence. Okay? If we're adding 5 each time, that means our general formula is 2 plus n minus 1, 5. Okay? Why do we have n minus 1? Because for our first term, we only have 2. That's why we put the minus 1 here, because it's only when n is equal to 2 that we start adding by 5. If n equals 2 here, that means when we have t2, we add 1 times 5. When we have t3, then we have 3 minus 1, which is 2, multiplied by 5, and we add that to 2. We can also rephrase the formula as 2 plus 5 bracket n minus 1. Now, with this in mind, we can also answer other questions. Okay? We can find out the value of other terms in the sequence. For example, what is T8? Okay? All we have to do is replace n from the formula with 8. We get T8 equals 2 plus 5 bracket 8 minus 1, which is 7. 2 plus 5 times 7, that gives us 2 plus 35, which gives us 37. We can also find out which term has a certain value. For example, which term has a value of 52? In this case, we put 52 in place of the term, and we put in the general formula. Then we try to find the value of n. So 52 equals, again, remember this is the general formula, 2 plus 5 bracket n minus 1. If we expand that, we get 2 plus 5n minus 5. And we'll find that 5n equals 55 when we rearrange numbers. It will be 5n here. 2 minus 5 equals negative 3. Okay, move that to the other side, then we add 3. So it equals 55. We divide both sides by 5, and we get n equals 11. That means T11 equals 52. Okay? We can look at some other examples from the textbook. Okay? Here we have an example of diagrams. We're counting the matchsticks here. We have 4 matchsticks, and each time we want to create an extra square by adding 3 matchsticks. So we see T1, T2, T3, etc. Now we have to find what the common pattern is. Now we notice that each time we want to make a new square, we're adding 3 matchsticks. So t2 equals 4 plus 3, t3 equals 4 plus 3 plus 3, etc., etc. Now, how do we come up with the general formula? It's Tn equals 4 plus n minus 1 times 3. Now remember, it's n minus 1 because for our first term, we haven't added 3 matchsticks yet, which is what the times 3 stands for. So when n equals 1, this value right here will equal 0. We just have the 4 matchsticks. Okay? So each time the sequence increases by 1, we're adding 3. Hence, the number 3 here. Okay, so with that in mind, I believe you should be able to do your homework. Remember to write down any questions you may not understand, anything you're having difficulty with. And your homework is to answer the triad questions on pages 58 to 61.